What's going on, everybody? My name is j-statik and you're watching the Static Sessions. Today we're going to do a breakdown of Ninja's song Deathrow. Let's get into it. So, you guys have heard the song, most likely. If you haven't, show you a little snippet right now. That's a song, so has not that many layers, and Deep did a really good job. Deep Jandu was the producer for the song, featuring Ninja and J-Hind, who did the rap on the song. Great job. The whole thing is well stacked. Great choices of drum samples, great choices of music samples. Everything was so high quality that it was probably the easiest and funnest song to mix, because making it sound big and huge was pretty simple to do. So let's go through each of the instruments one by one real quick to give you guys a rundown of what was involved in the song. First, we got a bass drop. After that, we got the bass line. After that, we got kick. Then we got some snares. And over here, we got another lower kick. And then we got djembe or djembe, I don't know how to say it. And then we got another djembe. And then a little shaker. Crash. This is absolutely nothing. Delete that. Then over here with the intro to the song, with a little bit of this. Then we had some strings. So first one is this. Then a reverse. And another reverse string. Then we had some harp. Then we had, I don't know what this is, but I'm guessing Zune is an instrument. And then had an affected one. And then we had some claves, which sound bomb. Little string stab. Then star. Then we had reverse. And another affected reverse. Then a little scratch. Then we had the vocals. Then we had some backing vocals. And J-Hind.
We run the whole wide world from the bin.
And then we had Deep
Jandu.
And he said it himself. Now let's go through it, and we'll go through the mixing, and then we'll go through some of the mastering, and you guys can see what it took to make the song. So with this song, I did not do a lot of VST and effects for stuff except for the vocals, because Deep did a really good job of, again, choosing the samples. So we'll listen to the reference, and then we'll go through it.
Hey, Deep.
So that's the reference. I'll show you where the chorus is. So you can hear how everything's there, but it sounds a little bit darker and kind of tucked in. So my thing was to bring it out as much as I can. So here's the bass line, added some R bass, gave it more thump, and then added a side chain so it hits a little bit better. So you can see the dip from the side chain. Then over here we had the full-on drum pattern. I didn't do any effects to these except leveling. And the reason was he wanted it to sound like his original reference, because that's what everyone was really listening to. So you can hear it all in its entirety. These drums slap, like slap, compared to even the original.
Hey, Deep.
The kick pops out way more. Then we had some of the music. It's such well-played samples that I didn't have to do a lot. And it was even low cut on a lot of it. It felt really good, had a lot of space. So my main thing was just level individual clips, go in, make sure there's enough headroom on the individual clips, and then go from there. He did a really good job with that. Then into the vocals, very simple. Get rid of some frequencies, tighten up the low end, added some compression, a lot of compression actually with this one, and then added some high end to make sure it sounded nice. Another form of compression, some more high end, and more high end, because being a Desi song, wanted it to be like nice and sharp. and then just control some of the sharpness with some soothe at the end. And that was really it. So we'll do a little before and after so you guys can see, and then we'll go from there. So turn it off first. So you can hear a lot of the sharpness, but it's still controlled. It sounds nice. He did a really good job on that. And then with the chorus, it was a little bit different. No, it wasn't. It was actually a copy chain from Ninja because they liked how Ninja sounded. So we were trying to find different ways to do it, and it just felt like Ninja's copy chain just sounded really good on this. Because they're both being sung simultaneously, it just made sense to do that. I'm sure there's slight variations with maybe some compression or some soothe. Yeah, there is, with some soothing just to control that mid-range. And then other than that, everything was pretty similar, being sung in the same key and all that. It was pretty simple to do. So when you hear those two together, it sounds like this. That's it for that. Then Jay Hind's part, simple enough. He has a much more complex chain, but it goes from EQ8 to controlling some of the harsh frequencies. He did a really good job of recording on this.
We run the whole wide.
A very heavy hip-hop compression just to make sure it sounds as fat and as crushed as possible and comes out. Some de-essing, bring out the brightness, because when you do crush a vocal, tend to lose some of that brightness. From there, we go into some Arvox, some Soothe, which was controlling some of the low end and top end. Then we got some more Pro Q3, some de-essing.
We run the whole wide world from the bin. Pies made it south.
Then we got some Chandler and more Chandler. And then we got very intense Soothe happening at the end. And that's just to control the overall sharpness of the vocal. And to make it kind of sound more like Ninja's part, because Ninja's part was really, really sharp. So bringing out sharpness in this vocal is tough to do. So when you do it, tends to be a lot of like harsh frequencies that come out. So now with this, controls a little bit more. So without it,
we run the whole wide world from the bin. Pies made it south. We don't need new friends. Trunk full of cash.
It does sound a little bit cleaner. Copy the vocal over here, and then Deep's part at the end, not much done to it, just some low end cutting and overall similar EQ to Jay Hind's part. I had a little brain freeze there. To Jay Hind's part, just a little bit of a similar EQ because it's a little bit more on the rap ad-lib part. And so Deep's, you can hear raw and after. Oh, right there.
Deep Jandu. Deep Jandu.
Very, very compressed. But in the mix in its entirety sounds really good.
You know. Deep Jandu. Jay Hind.
It just sounds good. Sometimes the mixing of a vocal or something on its own doesn't always sound the greatest, but in a mix usually sounds really good. And my main goal, they really liked how this vocal sounded, but they wanted that brightness that comes from mixing Desi songs, I would say. Not really in the hip-hop world, but in Desi songs, brightness is key. Over here in the master, we dropped the entire chain before we started by 10 dB. Added a little bit more low end and top end. Added more top end here and did that little low frequency effect on this side. Added some more top end over here. A little bit of soothe. Then we went into a clipper and limiter. So show you guys before it goes into clipper and limiter. And then with the limiter. Just very slightly glues the whole thing together. Sounds really nice. And that was the entire mix master for Deathrow by Ninja. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'm going to have a lot more coming soon.